Hi, I'm Savannah, and I'm from Florida Atlantic University's Harbor Branch Oceanographic Institute. Did you guys know that there's a really cool place right here in Fort Pierce that does all sorts of research on the ocean and the Indian River Lagoon? Well, it's right in your backyard, and I'm here today to talk to you guys about some of the animals that we study at Harbor Branch. Can you guys guess what type of animal this jaw comes from? Well, if you guessed shark, then you are correct. Sharks are special kinds of fish that can be found all over the world. Usually, sharks are found in the ocean, but some of them like to hang out in fresh water too. Unlike fish that have bones, sharks have a skeleton that's made up of cartilage. Cartilage is a thin and flexible material that actually makes up our ears and our nose too. There's all types of sharks. There's actually more than 500 species of sharks on Earth today. The smallest shark in the world is a dwarf lantern shark, which lives in the deep sea environment and is only about 7 or 8 inches long. The largest shark is a whale shark, which can grow up to about 40 feet in length. That's longer than a school bus. Some sharks feed on plankton, like those whale sharks, and this guy, a megamouth, while other ones prefer larger fish and squid, like the great white shark. Some sharks look really weird, like this goblin shark, which lives in deep water, and it got its name from the mythical goblins in the Japanese folklore. Some sharks can live for a really long time, like the Greenland shark, which lives in very cold waters. They are the longest living animals with a backbone known to science. They can live at least 272 years old. Some sharks live in the open ocean and like to journey deep underwater, like this basking shark, which has been recorded to dive as deep as 4,000 feet. That's about the length of 11 football fields. Some sharks like to hang out in shallow waters, like the nurse shark, who spend most of their time in coral reefs and rocky areas. The fastest living shark is the short-fin mako, which has an average swimming speed of about 25 miles per hour, but it can move up to 46 miles per hour in quick bursts that allow it to fly through the air. Do you guys have a favorite type of shark? If so, let us know by commenting below. Most sharks are carnivores, which means they only eat meat. Sharks can have up to 3,000 teeth in their mouth at one time, and these teeth fall out throughout their lives. Let's take a look at our jaw. Now this jaw comes from a lemon shark. We'll learn more about that lemon shark later, but if you look closely at the jaw, you can see all of these rows of teeth. Sharks can have 5 rows of teeth in their mouth at one time, and every time they bite down on something, some of those teeth will fall out. That's okay though, because they continually replace these teeth throughout their lives. Every time the old ones get loose and fall out, the new ones will shift forward and take their spot. That's why we can find shark teeth all over the beach. If you're really lucky, sometimes you'll find a black shark tooth, like this one right here. This one came from a type of shark called a Megalodon. The Megalodon is a type of shark that went extinct about 1.6 million years ago. But when it was here, it could grow to be as big as 50 feet, and its teeth could be up to 7 inches long. Now, here's a different type of jaw. This jaw comes from another animal that lives in our ocean. Can you guess what type of animal this jaw comes from? I'll give you a hint. It's the cousin to the shark. If you guessed ray or stingray, then you are correct. The stingray or ray is another special type of fish, and just like sharks, they're filled with cartilage instead of bones. They have long, flat fins that run the length of their bodies and give them a roundish shape. There are all kinds of stingrays. Some stingrays like to sit on the bottom of the ocean floor, like our southern ray, whereas other ones, like the manta ray, like to spend their time out in the water column. Some rays have a tail that's equipped with spines called barbs that have a sharp point and serrated or notched edges. This is what gives them the nickname stingray. So back to our jaws. This jaw comes from a type of ray called a cow-nose ray. Let's compare it to our shark jaw. Can you guys spot any differences between these two? Well, when I look at them, I see that this jaw has flat teeth, and this one has sharp, pointy teeth. The flat teeth are because the cow-nosed ray has a completely different diet than that shark. It likes to eat shellfish, like clams, oysters, and snails. So it has to be able to chomp down on these animals and break through their shells to get to the meat on the inside. Now these teeth will also wear down and fall out over time, and they'll also be replaced by new teeth that'll shift forward into their spot, just like sharks. At Harbor Branch, we study sharks and rays. One of the things that we want to learn more about these animals is what they like to eat. Now, you can't just walk up to a ray and ask him what he had for dinner, right? But you can learn more about these animals by listening to the sounds that they make underwater while they're eating. One of our projects at Harbor Branch is looking at a species of ray called the spotted eagle ray. That's a special type of ray that lives around Florida. It has a spotted pattern on its back, and it likes to jump out of the water. Now we're listening to the sounds that these eagle rays are making when they're chomping on their food underwater to learn more about what they like to eat. Our researchers have figured out that each different type of food that the ray likes to eat makes a different crunching or chomping or popping sound under the water. Learning more about a ray's diet can help us understand if these animals are healthy, and also we can learn more information about their role in the food chain. So studies like this are really important. Another thing that we want to learn more about these sharks and rays is where they like to live and where they like to travel to. Now you can't just ask a shark where he likes to hang out, right? But you can understand more about that information by using tags that look like these. Remember when I said we were going to learn more about those lemon sharks? Well, the lemon shark gets its name from its yellowish brown coloring, and it's one of the types of sharks that we've tagged here at Harbor Branch. As you can see in this picture, this lemon shark has a yellow tag on its top fin. That's called an accelerometer tag, and it tells us where the shark is going and how fast it's moving. By looking at this information, we can see how fast the shark moves when it's just hanging out, or how fast it can move when it's catching its prey, as well as if there's different times during the day or the night that these sharks like to just rest. The accelerometer tag also can read temperature and pressure. This tells us how deep the shark is swimming in the water. And the last part of it is the black part at the top. That's its acoustic transmitter. That helps our scientists find the tag once it falls off the shark after the study. Once our scientists get the tag, they can then go and download the information so that we can learn all about that shark's journey. Our scientists are about to start using these tags on another type of shark, the bull shark. During the spring, summer, and fall, young or juvenile bull sharks like to hang out in the Indian River Lagoon. This lagoon has plenty of food for these animals, and the shallow water allows them a safe place to grow up. Bull sharks are unique because they're what we call euryhaline. That means that they can live in both saltwater and freshwater. Our scientists are hoping to learn all about how these bull sharks are acting in our Indian River Lagoon based on tracking their movement patterns. So what exactly is the Indian River Lagoon? Well, despite its name, it's not actually a river. It's an estuary. That's an area of the water where salt water from the ocean mixes with fresh water, creating a brackish environment. The Indian River Lagoon is a large body of water. It's 156 miles long, and it goes along Florida's coast. It's home to over 4,000 plants and animal species. Our researchers have identified 17 species of sharks and rays that like to hang out or live in our Indian River Lagoon. Want to see one of the weirdest types of rays that we've seen in our lagoon? This is a small-toothed sawfish, and it's a type of ray that looks a little different than the ones we saw earlier. It got its name because of its long snout that's lined with teeth, and it kind of looks like a saw. That snout, it's called its rostrum. The rostrum helps the sawfish locate and catch their next meal. Unfortunately, this is an endangered species of ray. That means that there aren't many left of them out in the world. This is because fishermen used to catch them and keep their saws or rostrums as trophies. Unfortunately, we haven't seen a lot of these guys, but the good news is that our researchers have found 4 individuals hanging out in our Indian River Lagoon. That makes us think that these animals are making a comeback in this area. Not only are sharks and rays super cool, but they're also really important for our environment. Sharks are apex predators, which means that they are at the top of the food chain. And their job at the top of the food chain is to keep the rest of the ocean system in check. So an ocean full of these animals is a healthy ocean. Want to know what you guys can do at home to help our sharks and rays? Well, you guys can share some of the really cool information that you learned today with your friends and your family and tell them why these animals are so important. I hope you guys loved learning about sharks and rays today. And if you want to learn more about science and sharks and rays and other marine biology things, you can always come visit us at FAU Harbor Branch. Make sure to check out our website to stay up to date on information and to see when our facility will be reopening.